That's a umeki. That's like 1810 probably or 20.
Damn, that's so dope.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Wow.
Man, I got Randy Barton on, also known as Randy Boogie.
Yep.
We met in Scottsdale a year ago, basically. A little less than a year ago.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, I was like, I had been seeing your stuff on Instagram, I think, anyway, at that time. Yeah, you're a cool cat.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you're a very unusual man.
Yeah.
You see the. I mean, this is how he shows up. This was not a planned podcast, right? He came down to see the gallery because he wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And he shows up, rocking.
Yeah.
Which I was like, yeah, I want that shirt for sure. And this is because you're really into fashion. We're going to talk about your fashion, cinematography, art.
Yeah.
And it's all complexed into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's talk about the fashion component.
Yeah, the fashion.
Because you always are dressed
Always.
well. I mean, cool.
It all starts, I always say my story starts around like 1985, moving from the reservation into Winslow, Arizona. Yeah. And the very first thing I've ever seen when I moved into my bedroom, when I looked out my back, when I looked out my window, was a group of teenagers. And I found my way in there, and I heard this like futuristic music that was happening, and it looked like what appeared to be a fight, and I didn't know, but they were laughing at each other at the same time, and being real macho and funny to me, right? And like it seemed kind of like martial arts, but what I ran into was a breakdance battle.
And that was 1985 in Winslow.
Winslow. Yeah.
You're Diné, you're Navajo.
Yeah, I'm Navajo, Diné.
And you have moved from the res to Winslow.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
I was like 5 years old.
All right.
I only spoke Navajo then.
Yeah.
So everything was brand new to me.
I bet.
And so the very next day, my aunt was babysitting me, and we get a knock on the door. And the person who came to the door was the main break dancer.
Yeah.
That I seen a day before. And he noticed me.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
Were you dressing different at that time yet?
So that was kind of where everything started for me.
Yeah.
Is he taught me graffiti before I knew English.
Oh.
And
That's a slogan right there, man.
Right? It is. It's kind of wild that I was pretty much, I was raised by hip hop culture, subculture. And that was my introduction into like moving to Winslow.
Wow.
Very instantly. And so I just mimicked the way he dressed. And everything was based on style. Fat laces in the shoe, how you wear your socks, the parachute pants, the different, the matching the sweat, what is it called? The track suits, right? The gold chains.
Yeah, I remember it. I definitely remember it.
The raccoon tail, crazy glasses, mesh shirt. I mean, every day. So I was surrounded by that every day around graffiti, and then just this futuristic music,
Yeah.
I think my first tape was Nucleus, Jam on Revenge. And the intro, just how,
Right.
as a kid, such an impressionable age, like, that's what made me cool. So by the time I was in first grade, I used to write Kid Fresh.
Yeah.
That's what they called me.
Kid Fresh.
Yeah. And so I had these bubble letters and different styles of writing my name. And so everyone in the class would gather around me and be like,
oh yeah,
because I could do graffiti. And
yeah,
that's
who
what
could
made
do
me.
that? And were there many Native kids in this?
No, there was probably like 5% of the people. I mean, maybe less than that.
And they were Diné mainly?
Yeah. Diné and Hopi.
Yeah, and Hopi.
Yeah. So I think, I've always was the cool kid.
Yeah.
Ever since.
I can see that in you.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you do have an air of that. I mean, that's just it. I mean, some people do, some people don't.
Yeah.
And so it was for you, music and fashion.
Yeah.
You recognized it right there.
It was the hip hop subculture.
Yeah.
Which is the DJing, the beat making.
Right.
The graffiti art, the slang,
right.
the rapping, the dancing. That's where the term boogie comes from, right?
Yeah.
And
that's for your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Randy _boogie.
_boogie.
See, I know your Instagram account.
Yeah.
You should follow it. If you haven't, you should. It's cool. No, it is.
Run it.
No, it is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of my introduction to everything. And I did it so much that I think I had a kind of I was very confused by the time I got to junior high, because before you know it, I wasn't speaking Navajo anymore. The whole gang culture came into play, and that's how I survived, was because of my street art. You know, I didn't have to join any gang. I was the one doing everyone's letters. I was the only kid that could skateboard, wear hot pink and turquoise together,
right.
neon green and yellow.
Right. That's just Randy.
But still be in a gang affiliated neighborhood, one block away from the projects. But I lived in a place where all the kids came right in my backyard to ride BMX. And
was this still in Winslow?
It's still in Winslow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've always there was not much Native Americans within these scenes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I was like
isolated.
probably like two,
Yeah.
me and the person who influenced me, who taught me, and because I think he was a leader of the gang. I was so small, I didn't understand that,
right.
Right. But that's how I got the style of dress, the slang,
right then.
the style
really
of music,
early.
really early.
Yeah, and did that follow? Obviously, I mean, you walk in and you're just like, man, I could so appreciate that. But that followed you through junior high and high school, and were you dancing as well?
Always danced.
Yeah, because that's where the boogie comes in, right?
Yep. Yeah. And my dad had always kept me very traditional, though. I remember even going to, I'd miss certain school dances or proms because I had to go to ceremony. And it was very hard for me to like even explain that to people.
I'm sure.
Like a date, be like, I can't go because I got to go to ceremony.
And where were his family?
Tisto, Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delcon area. Yeah. Cedar Springs, more specific.
So you would go up there and you're still dressing how you're dressing, I'm sure. Yeah. What was that like? You walk in, Randy Boogie, into this very traditional kind of setting.
Yeah. I think they knew, because they knew, everyone knew of the whole breakdance movement. Yeah. Because my first cousins, they were part of the culture also.
Part of the break con.
Yeah. So
and
they were well traveled. My uncles did jewelry. I grew up also seeing David John's art in Winslow.
He's a great painter.
Yeah, so he'd be in the ceremony as well. So that's Leroy Thomas. That's my dad's brother. So he made jewelry. And all his kids, were break dancers also. So
you're living two lives, really.
Yeah, basically is what it is. Yeah. So that's what I meant. It was an identity, struggle, because it's just kind of like both worlds.
Yeah.
And it's still like that for me.
I can see that. Yeah.
And then you're introduced to like Michael Jackson and pop culture, right?
Right.
So you're like, I'm very interested in what happens in pop culture. So, I'm like, oh, well, Michael Jackson's doing it. Like, I want to, look cool and be on TV.
But you were still you were still painting and doing mainly graffiti.
Mainly graffiti.
Yeah, because we'll talk about your paintings because they're very interesting.
Yeah, street art.
Yeah, and so what do you see yourself as at that point? Like you're getting close to. I assume you graduate from Winslow.
I graduated from Winslow. Yeah.
And so where do you see your trajectory from there?
When I graduated, I had a scholarship to Recording Arts and Science School, because for making music.
Because you're not only dancing, you're actually making bebop
music.
And stuff.
Yeah. I call it square pushing. There's a machine called an MPC where you sample music and you replay, you remix everything.
Right.
And I was just good at that. And being a DJ, right? Because I threw all the parties ever since I was like in 6th grade. That I just thought that was the move for me because that's what I was into.
Yeah, that was getting big at that time.
Yeah, but I was still young. I was still 17, and my dad was like, "Nah, you ain't going that direction."
Yeah. What did he want you to do?
I'm not sure. I think probably like to be an engineer or something. Which is respectful. Like I
get it.
I would have. I would have been down. I think architecture. I think would have probably been the happy medium.
Yeah, that would have been good for me.
Right. And but I ended up. I just dropped out of I didn't do the whole music thing.
Yeah.
I went to community college for like 2 weeks and I just dropped out. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Was it just too structured, you think? Or what was it? Or you just
it wasn't in my heart.
Yeah, okay. You knew it, so why go there?
And I think the angst drove me to do a lot of graffiti. And I had a daughter during that time.
Yeah.
And which is funny, this is kind of like the only job I ever had. I worked at Denny's.
Yeah.
For like not even that long.
I can't
couple
see,
months.
I
and
can't even see you making it.
Yeah, and I was like, this ain't it. And I said, I'm gonna find a way to get a scholarship and going. And I was like, I could see myself being a graphic designer.
Yeah.
Because I'm very good at selling things and creating things for clients and seeing
a vision.
I always just had this idea, this creative. I think you call it creative direction these days, right? But I was just always that dude ever since junior high. You know, I was on student council. They'd always be like, Randy's the one drawing it. He's the one doing all the designs.
Yeah.
And I could see a organization, a crew, whatever, and I would see what they're trying to do, and I'd be able to draw it up and be like, here's how you should do it. So I've always had that gift.
Yeah.
So I went to graphic design.
And so you went to school
so I
too?
went to school.
And where was that?
This was in Tempe, Arizona, around year 2000.
Okay.
So that's what I chose.
So you're 20-ish.
Yep. And that's what I chose as like my main
yeah.
profession. And everyone was always like, you're an artist. I'm just like, I don't know what that means,
yeah.
you know? And it wasn't until I went to design school that I met other artists. And they're like, oh, no, you're clearly an artist. You're like,
clearly.
Yeah. You're like, you remind me of Basquiat. You know?
Yeah, there is some of that.
I was like, what's Basquiat? You
yeah,
know?
and what is that? Yeah.
And then I watched the film.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, wow. And I was like,
there's other people like me.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, there's other people like me, and so that's what got me really influenced into. It was friends that I met at design, you know, at the college there that you should come down to downtown Phoenix to the arts district and see what's going on. We're selling paintings. They're like $50 here and there, but you should come. Like, and I would come, and like all my friends were like. Going to Goodwill and getting their own frames for pieces, and they would show up with like 100 pieces, and they're like, you should get in on this. And I was like, little did they know that I was actually from the store, right? I started buying oil pastels and acrylic, and I started painting just on my own, and I had like 3 paintings at the time. And I remember having this aha moment during it was a design principles class, and then learning just all the color theory, the rule of thirds. As soon as I seen that, I just had this aha moment, and I clicked, and I felt like I finally understood art. You know, this intelligent, conversation of fine art, and I was like, oh, I get it. I get why a yellow painting with the red dot just perfectly. That rule of thirds is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And the minimalism, and I started going through it because you have to learn art history and everything when you go to design school.
Yeah.
And shout out Tony Abeda, right? Because that night I got a magazine. I can't remember what magazine it was, Native Arts magazine. I can't remember what it was called back then, but the first page it had Tony Abeda and the bronze sculpture, forgot her name, but it was like the caption was like the modern masters of Native American art, and I was like blown away, and I was like, oh. And in my mind, right, because you're thinking like hip-hop. In hip-hop you battle, so you're like, who do I gotta take out to be the modern, to be
in that group.
To be that. And it's like I seen it, and I was like, wow. And I was like, this is really good stuff. And I went down to Scottsdale to several galleries, and I seen it in person. Same way I still feel the same way about art like 25 years later.
You're here. You came to see the art here.
And there's just this feeling. I don't even know. It's a feeling. For me, it's a feeling.
Yeah.
And I see it. It just everything amplifies for me. And so I looked at his paintings. And I seen the textures coming out, and I was blown away. Yeah. I was like, there's no way I could it's gonna be a while. Yeah. I was like, that's his style. That's what he does. But I was very inspired by that moment. Yeah. And then I seen, growing up, I'm like, where's some David John paintings? And it was like right next door. Right. I was like, I grew up seeing this as a kid, because I used to play with his son, and I would go to his house all the time.
Super talented,
and just be like, "Wow, this
I
is
know
what your
his
dad
portraits
does."
are just crazy.
Yeah. So I that was kind of my reference point for art.
Those are good references.
Yeah, and that's when I seen what he did for a living, and I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, I can make it.
Yeah, and it reminded me of the way I do graffiti, because the way I did graffiti wasn't even traditional. I just kind of made it look like a David Johns paint, like a landscape is what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that made me stick out,
Getting back to your roots too.
Yeah.
Your native roots.
Yeah,
right?
my native roots, and it just, I guess I always had my own style at that point.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're dressing that way as your kid, like 5 years old. You didn't really care what other people said. You just did what you did.
You know what's funny though? I used to ride, like, I used to be a bull rider also.
Wow.
Because my dad was a bull rider.
Oh my God.
So like on the weekends, I would ride bulls. And then I would come back to
Would you dress like
full out, everything.
just like you do now?
No, I went 13 NWZ, you know what I mean? Wranglers.
Okay.
Duster, just, like 30X.
So that's interesting. I mean, a bull rider is a very different personality too, to be able to get on that thing.
Yeah, it's true.
You have to be very fearless.
Yeah, you do.
There's a lot. I mean, I've known bull riders, and they are unique people. They have their own path. They don't need to show they're tough, because they show the world their mettle when they get on that animal.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and your dad was one, and then you did it.
Yeah.
And then Howard Post did it for a while too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then he said, "No, I'll just rope." He was the all-around state champion in Arizona in rodeo when he was a kid. And he had that same duality. What do I do? Do I be a rodeo guy or do I be a painter?
Yeah.
He couldn't, he was trying to do both worlds, and ultimately said, "No, I got to be a painter."
Wow. Yeah.
But so your dad did it, you did it.
And it just leads me to like understanding the art that I see now. Just the whole Southwestern culture.
Right. Sure.
And people don't understand. I'm like, no, I've been a cowboy. Like
That's important for people to know that.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I that's one thing I don't think people don't know about me. It's like
they will now.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. But it's that grounding that you have those experiences that you can turn it and use it how you want. Experiences are what give us the creative juice.
Yep, that is true.
To be able to find it. And so you're not just limited. So at this point, you're 20, you're doing graphics at Tempe.
Yep.
You have an epiphany because you understand color theory. Yeah. You see the theory of thirds. And then, so what do you do with that?
Oh, I started painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started creating on my own. I remember I got like just primary colors of acrylic, right? And I mixed it myself to create my own colors instead of buying the colors pre-made as a challenge, And then from there, like, I started rewinding and reminding myself of my grandma and my aunt making rugs.
Yeah, they were weaving.
Old school way, original way, carding.
Yep.
Out. And I remember we would go collect like all the roots, in different plants and to create the dye.
Right.
And I was there for it. That's how I was raised. And we would go and I would see them hustle it, right? And give it to their collectors. We would take trips out to Hopi and we would just go all over the res during the day. On days I didn't have to herd the sheep, right? And that I've done that.
Yeah.
Right. Early morning by myself.
Yep.
On the horse all day, responsible for like 50 of them and bringing it back. Was raised on dirt floors, kerosene lantern, for the evening.
No water.
Yeah. I remember there was even a wagon because there was, that was our means of transportation.
Yeah.
So I resonate with that because it's part of my lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's golden for where you can take it, though. Because you lived a life very few people have. You've lived a life of a traditional person. You've seen art being made traditionally, but you also hip hop, music, creativity, all this stuff. That's an interesting mix.
It is an interesting mix. I think it's the reason why I still choose to live in LA.
Yeah, we're going to get to that too. Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah, because where do you progress from when you start making art and selling it?
I moved to San Francisco in 2002 to like 2006.
Okay.
And
why did you go there?
I had a family member, and I also went through a divorce.
Yeah.
So I needed just a place to keep my mind right and see something else. You know, I had to remove myself from a small town of Winslow because I still want to grow at this point. And that's where I got in touch with a lot of the urban like art galleries and seeing how these famous graffiti writers were presenting their art. So I would watch them all night, how they would put up their shows, they'd paint the walls in the back, and how they would just present their art. And it gave me a lot of style because I wasn't doing any art shows then. I was still creating. But by the time I moved from San Francisco, I moved back here to the Southwest, and I just started just having shows and you know, I would, even how I do it now. I would just find random buildings I would rent out or little art centers, anything wherever I could showcase my art. But I would ask if I could paint the walls. So I took this like San Francisco, you know, like I lived right there, like, you know, on Haight Street, Lower Haight, where all the you know, Future Primitive and Upper Playground Gallery where I live, like a block away. And I met all the artists during that time. And I just kind of did it in the same style. And it stuck out. And everyone's like, wow, like, look at you. Like, dang, this is a really good display. And all I was doing is just, you know, and that's why that's why I'm here. Because I'm very inspired by what I see and, you know, and I apply it to my own work. And that was probably around like 2008. And I was still making music, still making beats. And people were kind of like, when are you going to start painting? Like a lot of urban artists during that time were like, dude, Randy can paint. Like, what is he doing making music and making beats? This was around like 2008. Right. And they're like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you should paint. You're good at this. And I was like, ah. And they took me to a First Friday, like, art walk. I didn't want to belittle other artists like that, but what I seen was, like, not the business. And I was just like, oh, this is not, it's not good in my eyes. I was like, I get it now. You guys want some action. You want me to live paint with you guys? Because we used to live paint in San Francisco, and you just want to bring a little more funk and flavor to like what's happening. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm down. Let's go. And I was like, just live paint tonight. And they're like,
and that's like that boogie thing too, right? I mean, that's like the competition and let me, you know, do my thing.
Yeah. So I clearly remember that night, and we went to we used to paint at these it was a house music night. It was funny because it was like a gay night, right? And none of us are gay at all. And but it was house music. We're like, oh yeah, San Francisco, we're down with house music. And we like live painted, and I just went. I just felt the music, and I went in, finished a piece, sold it for like, I think like $150. Yeah. But everyone was like proud, and they're like, you want to paint tomorrow? Yeah. And my girlfriend at the time was like, you did this? Yeah. You should start doing this. Yeah. You're making money. And I was like, yeah. And so we just started painting 7 days a week. Yeah. And I think a week into it, I painted somewhere in North Scottsdale. I sold like one painting for like $1,200.
Yeah. And this was all doing it live, right? Yeah. Yes.
And people were amazed by it.
Yeah, I watched you this summer do it. Yeah. And I was amazed by it, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes from being schooled in design, you know, because I make all my pieces ahead of time, and that's what I would do, and just put it, design principles, right? And I just place them, and I would just, to give ideas. So that's why I'm so good at it.
And the fluidity. That's the thing. Yeah. The fluidity was really good. You know, I was very impressed with like, wow, these are done immediately. And that's because they look like they took a long time to do, but you're doing them just spontaneously. It's just flowing right.
It's a lot of practice.
Oh, you know, for sure.
From graphic design.
I was watching you.
Yeah.
It was like, and you were focused. You were tuned in.
Yeah.
I mean,
I call it 7 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 from eternity.
Yeah, you were completely and utterly focused on what you were doing, even though there was a lot of havoc and things going on, lots of people and lots of and
that comes from painting in clubs or jazz bars. Really, it was jazz we started live painting in San Francisco first. I would hang out with the homies, and they would jazz music would play, and because it's everywhere.
Yeah, jazz. That's what yours was. It was like jazz. Actually.
Yeah. So when we came back, it wasn't jazz music. It was like hip hop turntable music, which is like a lot of people from Phoenix are known for. The mashup is taking music from all different genres and just adding a hip hop, which is like what rock and funk music,
right?
Breakbeat behind it, and so it was, it had the jazz feel because it was uncategorizable. It wasn't rap,
right.
And it was a different form of hip hop, and and so we would live paint to that. So it was always, you just. And it's very fun to me because it's all about shapes and you place it in different areas, get it done. And there's a whole process behind it. Shout out Dumper Foo, they used to be called Alpha Monsters live painting crew. But I consider him my teacher. And what he would do is it was wet, right? But he would dry it and then pull it off. So it was dry to actually do some dry markers. And him being a graffiti writer too, you can, it's dry enough to do marker on there. And we used to all hang out. Breeze was part of it, was part of our younger, and Breeze was the first one to advance and paint with these people we used to look up to. And we were really happy when we seen that because we're like, oh, we're next.
Yeah, there's a way to get to that next level.
And so Breeze was the one. And then eventually once they invited me, Dumper Foo did, I just took that and I kind of ran with it. And I was like, where else can I paint? Like, should I go to New York? But I went to like Portland. I went to Albuquerque. I just started Vegas, went back to LA, and I just started live painting. And I would just show up with my easel.
Right.
And
this would mainly be in clubs and things? Or? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I did that from 2008?
8?
8, 10, all the way to 2014. Okay.
So at least, anywhere from 6 to 5 years, you're making live art, basically.
5 paintings a day.
5 paintings a day.
7 days a week.
Yeah. And that's how you're making your life.
That's how I'm making my living.
But you're hustling.
I'm hustling hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've sold like 500 paintings.
Yeah.
And on the 500th painting, I remember people were getting so used to it. Right. And they're like, oh, that's an amazing painting. I'll buy one next week. And I was like, kind of discouraged. I'm like, what if there is no next week?
Right.
You should buy it now.
Right.
And for some reason that day, I was like, man, I'm out of here. I was like, I'm going to go to Portland. My girlfriend at the time was living in Portland. I was like, let's go get your stuff in Portland. Let's leave right now.
Yeah.
And we just left. And I didn't wait. My first day there, I went out and I heard drum and bass music at this club. And I just went back and I grabbed my easel and was like,
painting.
Let me paint. And they're still collectors and friends of mine to this day.
Yeah.
And I did my thing, and before you know it, I had a big crowd, had crazy commissions by the end of the week, and I realized I knew I could make a living and travel like this anywhere in the world at that time, because it was very new. No one's seen that kind of art being done before, so that's what I did.
It's still unusual. I mean, to go to a club like that and do that, and actually be able to paint, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other component. It can't just be throwing the color around. You actually have to have the chops.
Yeah, true.
And I've seen it, so I know you have the chops.
That's what's up. So I remember it was like the 500th painting, and I get this phone call from someone I was living in Portland. And I was like, I'm in Portland right now. So we had a meeting about wanting to do a live painting piece for one of their events, and maybe I should throw an event with them. And that person was Polani Bergos, which she makes clothes. Fashion, again, is fashion. And it was for a show for Nike, because she was working for Nike. So that led me to do a gig for Nike. And that's kind of where a milestone happened. And my prices like quadrupled. Just something magic just happened in the air. It's almost like, oh, you got 500 paintings. Cool. Well, welcome to the next level. Yeah. And it just happened. I don't know if it was my style changed or like that gave me a little bit of just some professionalism,
right?
You know, that I could land a gig like that.
Yeah, with a Nike thing. And did you do that repetitively with them?
I did it one time.
Yeah.
And then
it was enough to make
it was
mark.
Enough. Yeah, it was.
Did that change your style from dress at all when you?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I would think. Well, one, you have more money.
Yeah, because you have more money. You know what I mean? Before I had like one pair of shoes and all I ever wore was just paint everywhere. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's all my clothes were just covered in paint every day.
I could see that.
And I would just wear like my friends' like band t-shirts.
Right.
Because I was just so busy and I was always dirty.
Yeah.
So it looked like I kind of looked bummy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that look.
But really was like I wasn't bum. I was just active. I was so.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I going to buy something new? I'm just
and
going
it
to
can also
paint.
be quite beautiful when all the paint drops are everywhere.
And a lot of people are like, man, I miss that Randy B that was just real grimy and had paint all over him, and you're always painting, and they're like, but you still have it in you. I'm like, yeah, true.
But now you could actually start kind of thinking about fashion and what.
Yeah, and that's where it happened, and I started, you know, the live paint gigs. I started a crew called Medicine Paint, which, you know, was like my friends, and I was like, let's go bigger. Let's start doing live murals with bigger, you know,
buildings and things.
Yeah, and you know, we show up dressed and looked a certain way, and we have our art displayed a certain way, and that was where the change was, because I DJ also. Yeah. So we started throwing these shows, these fully immersive shows, and I started playing with map projection at the time, and this was around 2014, where the paintings started, you know, there were more than 1,000 at this point. So a lot of my friends that were used to buying $80 to $150 paintings could no longer afford it.
Right.
And they're like, we love what you do. We just don't know how to support no more. So we did the fashion. Here's some t-shirts you can afford. But I found a way to throw all my art shows as a party. So you're stepping into a painting. So I made the whole venue look like a painting that you walked into. So that was a whole other level of, I guess, design. So I would make it when you look in, you look like you're walking into a painting based on lights. I would just do a big piece when you're in. And then you would see the live art happening, and you pay your $20.
Yeah, it was an event. Yeah, so you could, other people could come, enjoy it. You could still make money.
Yep.
And you also get to create the whole world. It's a world, right? Your own world, the Randy world. And are you still doing that? Because that's an interesting concept for sure.
That became my style from then until I think around 2016. And I ended up painting a hotel. I won a contest that Swaya was putting on. It was happening during Art Basel, right? Around that same time, and I won a contest to paint a room at Nativo Lodge Hotel. But before that, I went to Art Basel and I competed in. This
is one in Miami.
Yeah, the one in Miami. It's a live art competition. I can't remember the name of, but they heard of me, and I won. I won the live art competition on an international level, representing America at the time. And Dolan maybe was there during. Tony was there. Tony, I had money because of this. All the murals and just this, this commission that I had, and so I show up. I'm in Miami Art Basel, and Tony. I get a chance to hang out at the round table with Tony and his friends. And be introduced to artists that I didn't know, but they're everyone. Kenneth Johnson, everyone from like Blue Rain Gallery, everyone else just doing the business, and then see me. But what was cool is I won this live art battle. And they're like, wow, you did that. Oh, you also you're doing the thing for the Nativo Lodge. I'm like, yeah. And you hang out with Tony, this is cool. Okay. And so I just hung out with them all weekend.
Yeah. What year was this?
2000, probably 16.
16. Okay. I think 9 years ago.
Yeah. 10 years ago, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But so by the time I came back, I wanted to make an impression on the owner of the hotel. I was like, I'm going to use this as a catapult to really be serious, to even be serious and hit another milestone.
Right.
So I sat there because I paint really fast, but I watched the people and I seen the kind of clientele that was coming through the doors. And I was like, how can I, and that's me being a graphic designer. I know how to do that. Mm-hmm. So I painted a piece. I called it All Direction Protection. Mm-hmm. And my friend was like, why don't you just come here and just live paint it? And then he was just like, throw your dancing yebiches right here, and then put some, you put your abstraction right here. And I was like, you're right. I was like, you're absolutely right. And I was like, I'm going to do the abstraction where you go through the door and you get to look at a sacred mountain to the east, because you could see it from the doorway. Mm-hmm. So I made it a perfect, where it's shining directly at that as like kind of like a crystal vision, and you're seeing it. Mm. And then I just put the dancing, the yebiches as a protection around it. Not so crazy, right? Very, very toned down. So I was able to put the two together, the juxtaposition of an abstract, what we call wild style, mixed with a traditional like yebiche painting.
Wow.
And it worked. It worked perfect. And the owner, he loved it so much. Heritage Hotels. He commissioned me to do 80 paintings for
80?
Yeah, 80 for El Dorado Hotel.
Oh wow. In Santa Fe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's when everything changed.
Yeah.
Because Associated Press got a hold of the story. And that was kind of my introduction coming into Santa Fe. And that was my first year doing Indian Market.
2016?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
2016, 17. Everything lined up, and Tony was really like proud of me. He was like, wow, you did it.
Yeah,
you're here. You've arrived.
And you were able to get the 80 paintings done?
Oh, yeah.
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 That's a lot of paintings.
It is a lot of paintings.
And they're in all the rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Now, good reason to go stay at the El Dorado Hotel.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You'll
check them out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, I called it the Golden Songs, which is an amazing piece. And it allowed me to, I studied, just the Spanish style. So I had like some Spanish colors into it and some abstraction, sand textured. It was a beautiful story that I created. And within 1 week of finishing the whole project was Santa Fe Indian Market. Mm-hmm. And I remember the day, because I'm very new, with what's happening at Indian Market, but people were like, what are you gonna bring something, to get judged? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, you bring a piece for the best of show to get judged and you can win awards. And I was like, really? And I was like, I remember it was 10 a.m. and the cutoff date was at 5 p.m.
Yeah, on that Wednesday.
And I was like, I think I could do this.
Yeah. And
I literally just stretched my own piece and I painted a whole big 4 feet by 8 feet. And I just walked it over right at 5.
Right.
It was like, I'm entering this piece. And they're like, wow.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I think I went to the best of show. And a photographer recognized me and he was like, you should take a picture right here next to all these, to this painting. I was like, oh, that's my painting. And they're like, that's your painting? And they're like, wow, well, you won a bunch of awards. And I was like, well, I did. There's just a bunch of ribbons there. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what this means.
Yeah.
There's some blue ones, tight. And I was like, cool, check my picture. And that's what happened. And I think I won.
What did you win?
I won I think because I was bringing such a new medium and a new everything, the digital art of it also. I think they created new media for people like me.
Yeah.
I think I was at the very beginning of that whole new media thing. And spray paint mixed with like acrylic and what else is this? And I'm like, it's just stuff from Home Depot that won't come off.
Yeah.
I'm a painting with like tar and like roofing tar until you break it down.
Were you?
Yeah. It's amazing. And it's just and it comes from graffiti.
Yeah.
I'm just finding all these other chemicals that you can't rub off.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, because you want it to stay.
Mean streaks, oil. We have our own form of like oil markers, things you could put into your marker so that it stains differently.
Did that get you a gallery in Santa Fe when you got that?
No, with no representation. No, still no representation. What I did is I ended up doing it for two or 3 years. It's a lot of work. Yeah. I did, right after that, I did, it was Herd Market.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. I sold pieces. And, but once again, I was just like, nah, I want to be on the bottom floor. I want to have my own gallery. If no one's going to represent me. And
are you trying to get represented?
I don't even really know. I think I would want people to meet me where my vision is at.
Yeah.
And see how we can further.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's the ecosystem that is happening.
Right.
And the whole love of the Southwestern culture and art movement, past, present, into the future, is, I would love that.
How do you sell your art now? Because you were at a gallery in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
At Indian Market.
I come from like the social media era.
Right.
And that's
so you put stuff up and it sells on your Instagram account.
It was the whole, having social, I think it was the perfect timing of social media mixed with Associated Press, showcasing what I did with El Dorado, that I just found like my first 5,000 followers, of true followers, that were interested in my story and art. And I think that's how that happened. So whenever I would post something, it would sell. And
that's still how you're doing it? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still doing these live? I mean, you did one in Indian Market.
I want to,
gallery, I should say.
But I want to do it. It's really fun when you do it as a crew.
Yeah.
With as either an auction or
something
happening. Yeah, happening with the purpose. When there's a purpose for it, it works best. As opposed to the way it was, because you only get better with time. Now they're just. They're way better than what I was doing 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and
we've been working on it for a while.
And it's exciting when you have like-minded people. Mm-hmm. So when we had Medicine Paint crew, it was very exciting, and that's how I like to do it, because you can go larger and the impact is just way more profound.
Yes, yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, and that's how we would do it for parties. For Swire, we did it 1 year. But it was, I think people didn't know how to work it, and it's like there's ways, for brand deals or like auctions or, remixing a certain show title, like it's just cool for entertainment. There's a lot of pre-parties. Everything has pre-parties, right?
Yeah, and there is a sense of entertainment that runs through you, right?
Yeah, totally.
And you're doing some stuff with writing movies and different things too, right?
Yeah. So the cool thing about LA, I'm gonna fast forward real quick, because a lot of people don't know that for the Super Bowl that happened in Phoenix, right, a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I was the artistic director for that whole thing, by a shout out production club out of LA. Yeah, my boy Mike. Their office was like a block away from my gallery that I had in downtown LA. And I think I had it in 2023. Yeah. But they stopped by my gallery, and they just kept tabs on me. Yeah. And when they came to Arizona, they're like, nah, we want someone local to represent.
Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't get any more Arizona.
And they're like, we already know the perfect person.
Yeah, and he's in LA too.
Mm-hmm. And they just hit me up. And I was like, let's do this. Yeah. And it was like 160 they're called documents, when you have to do. Mm-hmm. It was like a month to do it. And they're like, you think you could do this? It's very important. Like, this is the NFL, buddy. And I was like, let's go. Let's run it. I'm the artistic director. Show me your team. Yeah. That's your animator? Okay. I sent instantly 160 files to her, and we got the project done in 24 hours. Wow. NFL signed off on it. And I left a whole month of them to really concentrate on this amazing delivery. For that, Production Club has given me their key to their studios in LA. So I'm surrounded by people who make events like that. Yeah. Like on that level, that's their account. The NFL's their account. Not to mention other big accounts they have. Right. So I have the opportunity to sit on the meetings and talks, and learn how to do big immersive events. Art related. related.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm also in LA for too, because I get to go there and sit. I'm not employed by them.
Right.
I think they probably want to, but I also want to do my art career.
Yeah.
But it's almost like if I were to go to college, if I were to go back to school, it kind of be to learn what they're doing, and I'm like seeing it firsthand and what they're doing, and it's very cutting edge. It's very next level. So I get a chance to see into the future by working in their studio. I'm very, very blessed to have that be part of everything I did. And that was another milestone for me where people were kind of like, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, I planned this in 2000, like I sat there and I knew that I was going to land a job like this one day.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is always like how with art, going to Art Basel for like 8 years now.
Every year you're going?
Yeah, I go every year.
And what do you do when you're there? Do you just go to the different events? Are you part of the events or what are you doing?
When Tony's there, I follow up with Tony and he teaches me about the heritage, why certain paintings are so important. He'll introduce me to collectors or who he is inspired by. Art history, basically. And then when I go and do me, I go and see like all the parties. How the rappers, and like the hype beast kind of community connect with the art designers and fashion designers and how to push the culture forward on that end, which is a big gap from this other fine art world. So I'm part of that too.
Yeah, you're living in that world too.
So I get the best of both worlds, and I don't ever want to have a show or anything. I just like to see what's happening next or what's cutting edge. And what I notice by going to these shows is what's the next breakthrough piece of art that everyone's waiting for. And I'll be like, I seen that 3 years ago. I seen this. You'll see the same pieces.
And you're doing it in fashion as well.
And fashion as well.
And you're doing some fashion yourself too, right? Because I remember at that show you had some of your own fashion on. And how are you promoting or doing that?
I was doing it with collaboration with the person that I met with who did that show with Nike.
Yeah.
Which was Neo Clothing, Palani Bergos, no end of. She's into real estate right now. We might pick back up, but I was doing it in the form of collaboration. So we would go shopping. We'd see all these high fashion, whatever's leading in the fashion market now, and I'd be like, this is what I'm inspired by, and she would show me what she's inspired by, and we'd brainstorm and we'd come up with the collection, and then she would go back and do everything, and that's how I learned how to do the cut and sew was through her, and then I just had the expertise of designing. So that's how I did it. And this past year I did my own because I was stepping away because she was kind of like, I'm gonna take a break for a while and get some money pretty much, and we can pick back up. And I'm like, because you need money. And so I was like, cool. And I was stepping away, and that's when Amber Dawn was like, we're going to have the inaugural Native Fashion Week, and do you want to be a designer? I want you to be there. Because I had a boutique eventually I had a boutique in Santa Fe in the plaza. They're kids. And some of these kids went on to design for Kanye, which they're all in LA, which is another reason why I'm around them. And it was outside of the native and Western fashion, but they're like dressing like Billie Eilish. You know what I mean? Like he's got a cool account, and they were kids, and it's kind of like I introduced them, and that's what's happening in Santa Fe. For same thing, I only had that gallery for like less than a year, and I don't have that spot no more. But
what did you take away from having that spot?
I want to be on the ground floor.
Yeah, you want to be in charge.
Yeah. We had to get upstairs to get to it, but the fact that we did it, and what we realize is when everything's in the right place, you can bring the whole world to you. Same way I came here, like you put in the work to do everything, but you have to come here to really experience your home, your collection.
Yeah, who I am.
And that's what I realized, that you can create something that powerful and impactful that people will start to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was my takeaway. And I was like, that is what needs to happen. A compound or a home is what, a gallery.
I have no doubt you'll get there.
Yeah, straight up.
No.
Little ones every here and there, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, it keeps going away. But when I hear other people's stories, it didn't happen overnight. They're struggling for 10 years. Things were right there and they get taken away.
Yeah, that's right.
And they keep bouncing back and they never gave up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Well, you're trying a harder road too because because you're multidisciplinary. You're doing fashion, you're doing, right? You're also doing writing for movies and things too.
Yeah.
You're an artist at your core. You're an artist. You're an artist. That's what you do is you create. You have so much creative juice, I think, that it just overflows everywhere, right?
It overflows.
And you're good at a lot of multi-disciplines. So it's trying to how do I make that where I can push forward and go, that's my thing.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy thing.
No, it's not.
Because there's a lot there.
The most important thing to me was always the art.
Yeah.
Because when I was back in 2000, I heard this quote, like the most important thing you could leave behind is an artifact. And to me at the time, it meant paintings. That they're going to outlive us, right? And just the preciousness of it and the story and the time period. I mean, just really understanding all that. And I was like, okay, that's what it's going to be. But because I feel like being born from the 80s, seeing pop culture, and then the whole NFL thing happening for me, I was like, but there's this other way also.
Yeah, but you're also still, you have a girlfriend that you live in Gila River Reservation.
Yeah. You're still rooted.
Yeah, so you're still rooted. You have all that, but you're also in LA part-time, right?
Yeah. I can only do like 4 days in LA.
I can imagine.
Before I unplug.
Yeah.
And I look at so much and, and I see so much in the future and I unplug and I come back.
Yeah. Around it again.
Yeah. And now it's, the next step is what's going to be the next.
Yeah. What is the next?
What am I going to I'm going to merge the two. I think I want to do the past, present, and future. And then not only just so I recently did, so it's funny, the place I live in LA is called the Da Vinci of the Renaissance era, right? Yeah. And I've looked at, I studied the Bauhaus because of design, and I recently did this inspired, Renaissance inspired painting that something hit there because it's been a while since I've took my time. I think it's because the whole movie, I'm able to take my time and really, instead of doing a wild abstract piece like I've done in the past. So I've chilled out a lot actually. And I want to pick up some oil and do Renaissance style paintings.
So you want to push your artwork.
Yeah. And then remix it into what a futuristic version of that could look like. But also, a lot of people don't know, but I've always took the Navajo creation story and I merged it with the hip hop creation story, which created my style. So you look at one painting, it doesn't make sense. But if you look at all the pieces together, then you start seeing this world, which is why I needed to tell the story of movie making. So they're like, oh, okay, now I know why he did that. Now I know why he painted that. Because when you put it all together, it's a story.
Yeah. Well, that's a deep thing. Yeah. Hip hop and Navajo creation story in one. Yeah. That's really unique. Because
the Yebiche dancers, they represent the same fierceness as a b-boy up-rock war dancer battling. The hardcore medicine man, like prayers and the style of praying, is the way an MC delivers just the same way, double, triple, cadence of rhyming and really putting in and really calling out of energies. They share the same parallel. The petroglyphs of, it's like modern, it reminds me of graffiti.
Yeah, it is.
It's the exact same way.
Yeah.
So when I use a stencil or when I would live paint, you'll see me get the marker really wet and blow.
Like a hand kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's the same principle. Yeah. And that's how I create the same parallel. In the music, the drums. Yeah. All of hip hop culture is based around the drum. So the drum is what is the heartbeat, right? And then so you put it on what's cool about the basket is I used to put Navajo wedding baskets on turntables. right?
Yeah.
And clockwise.
Yeah.
And it spins.
Oh, that's freaking awesome.
So the wedding basket it tells you the story.
Yeah.
Of Navajos only have like one design, right? And it's the Navajo wedding basket because it tells the whole story that you need in life.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's almost just like a record player, which is how hip hop culture was created, and being able to manipulate time and space with it, right?
Right.
The drums, and so that's how I look at turntablism and hip hop part of it, and then it goes further than that because there's the slang, there's the business, there's the culture, there's the passing down, of teaching the youth,
right?
And it's the same way as being traditional, Diné.
Yeah.
It's like you pass down these teachings. So they share the same like spiritual elements.
For sure. I can see
and that's how it happened for me. That's how I read it.
Yeah.
And no one doesn't ever look at it like that.
I can see it though.
And I was like, that's why it was so easy for me. I was like, why does it come easy for me? And I was
you can see the energy and the correlation.
Yeah. And I was like, oh,
it feels normal and natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just done in 2000. It's in the 2000s as opposed to 1950s, right? When they're still practicing. But that was my way of.
Still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's why it's a hybrid for me.
Yeah, it's your original voice. That's the thing that makes it so unique.
Yeah.
There's nobody like you doing that. No, that's a unique thing.
Yeah, it is.
I know. So you just have to somehow keep channeling it and pushing it out there and telling the story just like this. This is a very unique story.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard because it's like, because you still, like you said before, you have to have money. So how do you monetize something like that? I mean, art is probably the easiest way in the sense that, it's a tangible thing you can sell.
Yeah,
but
it is.
How do you sell or, do this other?
I think that's where I lose the money, but it's part of the artist statement.
Yeah.
Because hip hop culture, they said it was a fad, right? And it was born in South Bronx when everything was like stripped away, when there was nothing. And it was, it's a expression born from oppression. But there was so much energy that it just exploded and eventually became like this multi-million-dollar industry.
Yeah.
So it's like there's that such creative explosion, that happens. And that's why I think that's what they mean by hip hop, don't stop, can't stop. Right. And it's part of the story. So of course it's going to grow. And the only way it grows is you have to have all elements present. And that's how strong ceremony happens. You can't just have a ceremony with one. You have to have all elements present.
Yeah, culture, basically.
You have all the traditional tools around you, the certain prayers. You can't just, that's how ceremony is done. So I choose the same way, you can't just have one element, be a one-trick pony.
No, that's not, no one will accuse you of that. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here you are today, 2025.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 2026?
This has been a really interesting place. Because it's almost like running a marathon, right? I ran 26 miles, but you went the wrong way. I don't want to go the wrong way. So I've been the reason I chose to make movies is I want to make movies is because you can put all of those elements into the story. And there's a way that I would make a movie, not the way Hollywood or anyone else before would have made it, because I would do it in the form of a mixtape, like a DJ mixtape, to tell the story. And this is just to tell the story. So at that point, once it's released, I kind of believe it doesn't matter which way I go. People will understand where this art is coming from now.
Now, do you do that in a streaming type, traditional, or do you go YouTube? I mean, that's a...
Exactly. And that's, I'm not there yet,
Yeah.
And I just have all the music ready to drop it. I have 4 full feature scripts written, ready. The fashion, I know, even if it isn't it me, I have so many like contemporaries that just love where the future of it is going. So you can use it as a Rolodex to make it part of it.
You'll be the director. Well,
yes.
You're the producer, the creator, and the director.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. And if not, I mean, like, you know, a simple painting life is always, it already worked. That's how I looked at it.
Right.
It already worked. I was already living that. I wasn't crazy rich or anything, but I was able to lead a creative life and tell this story. I was already doing it before anything.
Right.
So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But you'll still paint. You're still painting, right?
Yeah, that's the foundation of it.
And then people can find, if they want to buy one of your paintings, they need to go to Instagram, right? That's where? Or how do they do it?
Yeah, I kind of, you know what's funny is I don't even say I have a certain list of collectors that'll just buy the whole collection.
I see.
So I don't even put a price tag on it no more.
Yeah.
And
But can they get in the queue if they want to?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, I have ideas even with the fashion. Once I talked to someone like Amber and everyone and seen their idea of what native fashion was, and I was like, oh, I got a museum piece that would go perfect for this with what you would like to do. I would love to create this for, you know, and you could take this into this place and you could be seen, you know. And that's how I am with everything else, like art, just ideas. I would love to collaborate to bring these greater, just these
concepts,
to life.
Yeah,
that could, people can help me tell a story in a better way. You know, as opposed to me being like, oh, check it out, here's a movie, oh, here's an album, oh, cool, here's a live mural, oh, and here's this. And when I did that, so many people didn't know that. They're just like, I didn't know you dropped 2 albums last month. And I'm like, I didn't know you did 10 paintings. Where did these come from? Where were these at? And I'm like, I was just popping out so fast that people weren't able to like understand it.
Yeah, how do you get seen?
Yeah, so now, you know, I want to be able to really package it in a way where it's like, check it out, enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, come together. Here's the place where more people, you know, that are into this type of story can see it. You know, I actually live painted at the Autry Museum. You know, and that was a wonderful gig. You know, and I went into their private collections. Nice. You know, gigs like that. It elevated the craft more.
Yeah, and Breeze has done this kind of stuff and been very successful.
Shout out Breeze. Like,
yeah, no, he's an amazing individual.
He was there right there in the very. You know, he's the older brother. He was right there with the rest of us. Yeah. So we all hung out.
And he's really succeeded as a fine artist. Yeah. In many multiple ways.
Yep. He's one. He's a lot of people don't know he's a dancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from the same era.
He's a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what it is, you know, our people are seeing from our generation.
Yes,
you know,
that's right.
We look young. I'm 46, you know, but we still can spin on our head and you know what I mean?
Don't do too many more of those. No, you need that head still.
Yeah, you know, but it's like we're still in, I guess, in
the mix.
In the mix, yeah. You know, and
well, you're gonna always be in the mix, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you're not getting out of there ever. You don't want to. It's part of who you are since you're 5 years old in Winslow, Arizona.
Yeah, true.
It's just kind of a conglomerate amalgamation of these two worlds.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah.
And the same passion.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? Like being surrounded by what your collection and your taste, what you've done, I get the exact feeling. Sometimes even a little bit more because it's been archived in a way where you can really appreciate the stories, which I think the hip hop world don't do.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And so, in the way where I'm learning that,
maybe that's your job.
like
maybe
this,
that's your.
Maybe you are right about that.
I could absolutely be in it. Yeah, I can see it. That's your legacy potentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we leave it on that? We cover it all? You think?
Yes, I think that's good.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
I love the fact you can say I'm coming, and I'm like, okay. I said, I wonder if you want to do a podcast. You walk in, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, let's go
for sure.
Those are sometimes I think the best podcasts
Yeah.
It's just spontaneous and just, let's talk. And that's the longest we've gotten to talk. We've seen each other a few different times
for sure.
now.
Yeah.
And I got to speak to you a little bit in Santa Fe at the gallery. What was the name of that gallery? Shout out to that gallery.
The gallery, Jared at Keep Contemporary.
Yeah, it was a cool gallery.
Yeah, which is cool because when I had a little pop-up shop, my last year doing SWAIA, it was downstairs, and I had it, and I covered it with a big, huge painting that I did a night before. And I had all these dancers that were my friends dressed up in my clothing, my fashion.
Yeah.
Doing little interesting things, pointing you the way. And I ended up buying an ad in some, I forgot what magazine it was. Placed an ad, but people, it was fun because there was a line out the door and everything, but I had just interesting experience to get to it, to find it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a small little gallery, so tiny, and I brought like a native jazz band. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was really fun.
Yeah, you get to create this way.
Mm-hmm. And Jared was ended up buying like a T-shirt or something, but that's where Keep actually started, was from that, because I only wanted it for 3 or 4 months. Yeah. Right. One to set up, get ready, throw the show. Right. But he was able to carry out.
Yeah, that's good for him.
Yeah, the rest of the year, and that's where he started, and then he moved somewhere else.
I think I have I know I have photos and maybe some video of that night. If you're paying, I'll put it in this podcast so people can see.
That'd be cool.
What you were doing. Yeah, it was very interesting. I didn't, it was like, yeah, okay,
thanks for coming through. Yeah. I remember simultaneously we our last painting before that was the painting we sold that weekend. With Jesse Littlebird and Patrick Cloudface Burnham, who's from Burnham Trading Post. Yeah. That's his son. Yeah. But yeah, we sold the piece during the exact same time. But which I think that's our live painting show. I think we're going to kick in Jesse Littlebird to be part of Medicine Paint and create like a live painting performance and see where that goes. Yeah, because of our live painting piece that sold probably the exact same time, and the energy is amazing. Yeah, because we don't talk.
No, you're creating.
We don't. Yeah, and we know each other so well. Right. That we know when someone erases, subtracts something.
Yeah, it's jazz.
And it just keeps. Oh man, it's
that's jazz.
It's unique.
Yeah, it is unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing to watch. I was like, okay. And my son really liked it too, because he used to do that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
he was like, oh yeah. He was the one who was like, we got to go over here, Dad. And Bree said, yeah, I'll go. So we all went over.
When Breeze is another one. Breeze he knows how to play.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's a really good live painter.
Yeah. I watched him at the Scottsdale Art.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It was the first time I got to see that there. I was like, okay, opening my eyes.
Shout out, Breeze.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Your girlfriend's been so nice to
one love
to hang out. Yeah, while we do this, and so this is great. I'm gonna grab a few things maybe from your Instagram account. We'll put up on there too.
Cool.
All right.
Yep.
It's going to be exciting to see where you go. Where's your next place I want to see you? Do you know?
I don't know
Scottsdale
yet.
Maybe in March?
It's definitely Scottsdale in March.
Yeah. I'll be there in the same little booth, right?
Okay.
Same place, yeah.
Perfect.
So I'll assume you'll come by.
I'm trying to find a Ferrari to paint.
Shout out to anybody who's got a Ferrari. If you hear this, he wants to paint one. Yeah. No, you don't want to go small. That'd be very cool.
Yeah. Right at the entrance.
Yeah. Why don't you talk to Ferrari?
Yeah, you're right. That needs to happen.
Yeah, you should do that. Mm-hmm. You definitely should do that.
Ferrari, some like wagon wheels or something.
Yeah, no, you should definitely do that. That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
Mm-hmm. One love.
All right,
Yo,
man.
Mark, you're the best.
Right, thank you. That's great.